Hello, everybody. I'm Dr. Greg Sloop, and it's time for Live at 5 on this Thursday, July 4th, 2024. Happy Independence Day, everybody, here in the U.S. This is the day that we celebrate the signing of the Declaration of Independence and our declaration of freedom and independence from the homeland, if you want to call it that, England. And it's good to be with you on this day. We are continuing our look at prominent stories and passages from the Old Testament. We're up to Genesis chapter 47, verse 13. Yesterday, we read the story of how Jacob was brought to Egypt and they settled in the land of Goshen. Today, we're looking at the story of Joseph continuing to deal with the famine in Egypt over this period of time after Jacob arrived in the land. Verse 13 of chapter 47 starts like this. Now, there was no bread in the land, for the famine was very severe, so that all the land of Egypt and the land of Canaan languished because of the famine. It was a desperate time, desperate situation. Verse 14, and Joseph gathered up all the money that was found in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan for the grain which they bought. And Joseph brought the money into Pharaoh's house. So Joseph dealt shrewdly. He's put away grain for the famine that was going to come, and now he's been selling it to the people. And they've gathered up all their money and they've paid all their money for grain so that they could make bread and live. And now they're out of money. So, verse 15, when the money failed in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan, all the Egyptians came to Joseph and said, give us bread, for why should we die in your presence? For the money has failed. Then Joseph said, give your livestock, and I will give you bread for your livestock if the money is gone. He said, we'll barter, we'll trade. So they brought their livestock to Joseph, and Joseph gave them bread in exchange for the horses, the flocks, the cattle of the herds, and for the donkeys. Thus he fed them, or it also means supplied them with bread in exchange for all their livestock that year. So Joseph is systematically taking all the wealth and all the goods of Egypt for Pharaoh. Now, that may seem harsh, but the truth of the matter is, this was shrewd and great business practice, and he was able to make Pharaoh and the land of Egypt one of the greatest kingdoms in the world because of his shrewd dealings. Verse 18, when that year had ended, they came to him the next year and said to him, we will not hide from my lord that our money is gone. My lord also has our herds of livestock. There's nothing left in the sight of my lord but our bodies and our lands. Why should we die before your eyes, both we and our land? Buy us and our land for bread, and we and our land will be servants of Pharaoh. Give us seed that we may live and not die, that the land may not be desolate. So it's desperate times, absolutely desperate times. The people have no money left. They've sold their livestock. They now say, take our land and take us as your servants. Then Joseph bought all the land of Egypt for Pharaoh. For every man of the Egyptians sold his field because the famine was severe upon them. So the land became Pharaoh's. This became a land that was completely and utterly owned by the king. Pharaoh owned it all. And as for the people, he moved them or made the people virtual slaves into the cities from one end of the borders of Egypt to the other end. Only the land of the priest did he not buy, for the priest had rations allotted to them by Pharaoh, and they ate their rations which Pharaoh gave them. Therefore, they did not sell their lands. The priests kept theirs. Verse 23, then Joseph said to the people, indeed, I have bought you and your land this day for Pharaoh. Look, here is seed for you, and you shall sow the land. And it shall come to pass in the harvest that you shall give 1/5 to Pharaoh. 4/5 shall be your own as seed for the field and for your food, for those of your households, and as food for your little ones. Pretty good deal. Pharaoh owns the land. The people are basically his slaves, and he's telling them, sow the seed, grow the crops, reap a harvest, keep 4/5 of it, keep 80%, give Pharaoh 20%. That's all he's asking for. So they said, you have saved our lives. Let us find favor in the sight of my Lord, and we will be Pharaoh's servants. And Joseph made it a law over the land of Egypt to this day, that is the day of the writing of this, that Pharaoh should have 1/5 except for the land of the priests only, which did not become Pharaoh's. In this situation, Joseph made Pharaoh the richest man in the land, and he basically made Pharaoh the owner of the entire nation of Egypt, except for the lands that belonged to the priests. Wow. I mean, Pharaoh had no idea that Jacob was going to make him such a powerful man and such a rich landowner in the nation of Egypt. By the time of this writing of this particular section, um, the famine was coming to an end. They had gone through the stages of the famine, and as they came to the end of the famine, Pharaoh owned all the land. Pharaoh was the slave master or the owner of all the people in there as his servants and slaves. And he had all the seed, and he distributed the seed to them. He gave them seed. He gave them the right to keep 80% of the harvest from the seed, and they lived in the land. They served Pharaoh, and they had plenty. This was the best, I guess, possible outcome for Pharaoh. And it was one of the best ways that it could have turned out for the people. This was not something accidental. God sent Joseph ahead of the people of God. He sent him ahead of his father Israel and all of his sons. He made a way for them to live, but then he also made a way for everyone to live and for Pharaoh to be blessed. Pharaoh was kind to Joseph. Pharaoh made him second in command in all of the nation. And in response, God made him the greatest king in the land. God does that. When we do God's will, when we fulfill the purpose of God for our lives, when we follow his leadership and do his commands, God will bless us. That's just the way God works. And that's the word of God for today. It's good to have all of you on here with us. Good to see Richard Britt, Sharon Noblet, Kathleen Palace. There are others that I can't see your names. Thank you all for being on here, and happy 4th of July to all of you as you've sent me these beautiful greetings here. I appreciate your being with us. It's our honor to present this each day, Sunday through Friday. Happy July 4th to every one of you, Independence Day, and we will be back tomorrow and then not Saturday. Now, let me go ahead and let you know I will not be available much of next week. Sunday, we'll be traveling at 5 p.m. So we will not be doing live at 5 next week, but I will be posting pictures from General Assembly. I will be posting a lot of information about the things that happen at General Assembly, and I will share those with you on my Dr. Greg Sloop Facebook page and on my Instagram, Pastor G7. So check out those and see what's happening in Indianapolis this week. And I look forward to seeing you when I get back, and we'll have live at 5 next week on Sunday. So you'll miss me for about a week as far as live at 5 is concerned, but I will be posting a lot of pictures and information about what's happening at the General Assembly in Indianapolis, Indiana. Please know we love you guys. We're praying for you. We will have our live stream Sunday morning at 10:30 a.m. Or if you're in town in Kannapolis, come by 2211 West A Street in Kannapolis and worship with us at the Kannapolis Church of God. We hope to see you there. And then we'll see you all week through pictures and reports. And we'll be back for live at 5 next Sunday, a week from this Sunday. I will see you tomorrow. I will see you tomorrow for live at 5 on Friday. So tune in with us tomorrow at 5 p.m. and we'll see you then. Have a great day. If you're shooting off fireworks, be careful. If you're going to some kind of activity, drive careful. And we'll see you Friday tomorrow at 5 p.m. Good to see Diane, Paula, and Evangelist Yiko Megurwa. Thank you all.